Well, we know for a fact Indigenous Australians are generally poorer, in worse health and have less educational outcomes than other Australians. So how does this budget affect their hip pocket, their health and their employment opportunities? Well, changes to welfare. From next year, young job seekers will have to wait 6 months before they can get income support. During that time, they'll undertake activities to better their chances at getting a job. Now, after that 6 months, they'll then have to do 25 hours of work per week under the government's Work for the Dole program. Now, the process essentially repeats itself until that person finds a job. There's not much detail on how the government expects this to work out in bush communities where employment opportunities are traditionally fewer. Moving on to co-payments now, and from the middle of next year, Australians will have to pay a fee of $7 to see a bulk billing GP. Now, it's been revealed tonight $5 of that will go to the newly created Medical Research Future Fund. Is that a hard sell? Well, the Treasurer, Joe Hockey, was in here before speaking to journalists, and he said that newly set up Future Fund could potentially find the cure to a major disease. So to him, the ends justify the means. How does it affect Aboriginal medical services? Well, it remains to be seen. Now, in what can only be termed a radical approach, the government will consolidate over 150 Indigenous programs and services into just 5, under the direct control of the Department of Prime Minister and Cabinet. How much is it going to save? Well, budget predictions tonight reveal it'll net the government over $500 million over the next few years. Well, one organisation which will get no more funding is the National Congress of Australia's First Peoples. This is the peak body for Australia's Indigenous peoples. Now, during last year's budget under the Labor government, they were promised $15 million. Under tonight's coalition budget, that funding will no longer go ahead. Does the organisation cease to exist? I'll be speaking to them to find out. Now, finally, $50 million will be spent on policing in remote Aboriginal communities, $26 million on improving Indigenous teenage sexual and reproductive health, and $18 million will go to the government's remote schools attendance strategy.